We've been wrestling with a fuel pressure problem. It's been about 3 weeks now. We did find a solution, which I'll cover that in a different video. But the most recent thing I learned was the sending unit or the fuel pump. They are different. The driver's side is the fuel pump. The passenger side is the sending unit. So let's just take a quick look here. Going over to the driver's side. So this is all OEM for the Corvette. This will be the fuel pump. The one over on the passenger side, this one here, is the sending unit. So we are having an issue on not getting a fuel gauge reading. So let me give you a reference point that if you do a quick ohms test, you'll see what I'm talking about here. Okay, so this is the original sending unit that was out of the donor car. I'm going to set my gauge to ohms. So just as a reference point, we can get a reading here. It's reading as 0.0, which is good. On the sending unit itself, where it connects, we're going to read between pins 1 and 2, which is top. There's 4 pins total, so we're going to read from top 1 and 2 pins. Okay, so our reading, as it sits, if this was empty, is 0.134. So as I move the float, you'll see the resistance also change. Okay, this is a good sending unit, or it's a good signal for the float. So 134, and when it's reading as full, it's only reading at 0.023. So this is a good way to check for your pumps, or either the pump and the sending unit, whether that float is working or not. Let me show you an example. All right, here's my voltmeter. We're going to take off the cable connection. Okay, I'm going to also connect to the same connectors, pins 1 and 2, which are across the top. Okay, I'm getting a reading of 0.023. So we want a reading, whatever that is. We want it to not read 0 or OL. So we're getting a reading here. That is correct. That's a good float there. Let's go over to the passenger side. Okay, so same thing. We're going to read pins 1 and 2. Disconnect the cable. Okay, I'm going to read just pins 1 and 2. Get set. Okay, I'm on pins 1 and 2. There we go. And I get a 0 reading. There is no signal that it's coming from this sending unit. It means this is defective. That also means on the fuel gauge, it's either going to read a partial tank and then it's going to drop to 0. The sending unit is bad. The irony to this, when we were chasing this fuel pressure problem, we ended up replacing both pumps, or both the driver's side pump and the passenger side sending unit, and they were actually both good. So in a different video, I'll tell you what we did without any fuel pressure. So I'm going to replace, ironically, the sending unit with the original one that came out of the car, and we'll go from there. All right, this is the original pump we're putting back in. Hopefully. This does have a key to the top. You'll see some indentations here and here. And then that's to match up to the indentations there and there. So it's going to orient like this. Make sure we're still connected here. Yep. All right, connect up these connectors and give it a test. All right, got that sending unit swapped out. That was not pleasant. The cross hose should have come out, but part of our fix on the last time around, we extended the inner hoses on the inside of that. That's why we had some difficult or challenge getting that out. But everything's seated in, connected in. So let's go fire this up. Check our fuel gauge, which should be reading. There, and this is a hodgepodge of wires, so just disregard. Here's my gauge cluster. So that is reading correctly. Excellent. Thumbs up. So just a bit of advice when you get a new sending unit or a pump, check the ohms on it before you install it. Enjoy.